The next time you see me, I will kill you.
Convicted serial killer Elizabeth Wetlaufer has been transferred from a prison to a hospital in Quebec.
You might not get exactly what you're looking for. There's not as much to choose from in a manner of speaking, but...
In the annals of history, certain confessions have resonated through the ages, leaving an indelible mark on society's collective consciousness. From scandalous affairs to heinous crimes, these revelations have shocked and captivated generations. What do these startling confessions truly entail? Join us in today's video as we delve into the top 20 most startling confessions in history. Prepare to be mesmerized as we proceed with these depraved and surprising confessions. Number 20. Jeffrey Dahmer. The name Jeffrey Dahmer is synonymous with horror and true crime. The Milwaukee monster was finally apprehended in 1991 after a victim escaped and led police to his apartment. There, they uncovered a macabre scene. Human remains, disturbing photos, and evidence of unspeakable horrors that had been committed by Dahmer over 13 years. But what sets Dahmer apart is not just the nature of his crimes, but his willingness to confess. Over 60 hours of police interviews, Dahmer calmly and methodically revealed the atrocities he had committed. His confession was nearly 250 pages long, detailing the murder of more than 17 men and boys, cannibalism, and attempts to create zombie-like slaves. In his confession, Dahmer took full responsibility for his actions, stating that he knew he was sick or evil, or both. He admitted that he acted on his fantasies, and that everything went wrong. He described his desperate desire for companionship, and how his twisted thinking led to him taking lives and destroying families. Number 19. Israel Keyes. Israel Keyes was not your average criminal. From the mid-1990s to the early 2010s, he shocked the world with his heinous acts, committing numerous serious felonies and ultimately taking the lives of at least 3 people. The story of Israel Keyes is a chilling tale of a remorseless killer who operated in the shadows. Keyes' downfall came after he abducted and murdered a young lady by the name of Samantha Tesla Koenig. Following his apprehension, he was extradited to Alaska, where the crime had taken place. During his time in custody, Keyes provided a detailed confession to law enforcement.
You might not get exactly what you're looking for. There's not as much to choose from in a manner of speaking, but...
Shedding light on his twisted mindset. In a truly unsettling manner, Keyes casually remarked, "Back when I was smart, I would let them come to me." These words sent shivers down the spines of those who listened. It was as if he derived a certain pleasure from the power and control he held over his victims. Throughout his confession, Keyes maintained an air of menace.
How long? Because it's been sitting there in the rain for so long, I was curious if there was... I mean, I know there was when I parked it.
Displaying a detached demeanor that was profoundly unsettling. Keyes didn't seem bothered by how serious his crimes were. He acted like it was no big deal.
Yeah, right.
No, there is. I don't have the lab report.
Wow. Uh-oh.
He casually ate a bagel and drank his coffee while telling disturbing stories. His nonchalant attitude defied comprehension, as if he had no care in the world. To make matters even more disturbing, he callously remarked, "Not much to choose from in a manner of speaking, but there are also no witnesses, really."
There's not as much to choose from in a manner of speaking, but there's also no witnesses.
It was a chilling reminder of the calculated way in which he meticulously planned and executed his heinous acts. Number 18. Andre Agassi. In the 1990s, Andre Agassi was a tennis sensation. He dazzled fans with his skill on the court, clinching glory at Wimbledon and securing numerous Grand Slam victories. He is widely considered one of the greatest tennis players of all time. He was the first man to win all 4 singles majors on 3 different surfaces: hard, clay, and grass. During his 20-plus-year tour career, Agassi was known by the nickname The Punisher. Yet, amidst all this success, there was a hidden truth about Agassi's iconic mullet hairstyle. Surprisingly, Agassi dropped a bombshell in his 2010 autobiography, Open, when he revealed that his memorable mane was, in fact, a wig. The flamboyant and eye-catching hair that had captivated audiences was actually a clever disguise. Agassi confessed that he used the wig to hide his secret struggle with baldness. The star disclosed that during his first-ever Grand Slam final, the burden of his hairpiece consumed him with anxiety. In a candid admission, Agassi confessed, "I had about 50 bobby pins holding it down. The fear of a humiliating mishap haunted his thoughts, and that distracted him during his crucial match. He even confided to his brother, questioning whether the wig would remain in place and expressing, "Is this going to stay? You know, it's my first Grand Slam finals." In response, his brother reassured him, saying that he thought it would and advised him, "Just don't move around so much." Taking all these into account, Agassi's journey becomes more remarkable when the disguises and vulnerabilities he grappled with are brought to light. Number 17. Elizabeth Wetlaufer. Who would have thought a registered nurse from Ontario, Canada, could have a dark secret that would shock the nation? Such is the story of Elizabeth Wetlaufer. From 2007 to 2016, she became one of the most prolific serial killers in the country's history. As an unsuspecting nurse working in long-term care homes, Wetlaufer took advantage of her position to commit unspeakable acts. She murdered 8 senior citizens by injecting them with lethal doses of insulin and attempted to take the lives of 6 others, although they miraculously survived due to insufficient insulin doses. Among the chilling details of Wetlaufer's crimes is a section titled "People Who Didn't Die." This portion of her story is both intriguing and disturbing. What could have possibly caused her to spare some lives while mercilessly ending others? The shocking truth is that Wetlaufer's arrest did not come about due to a meticulous investigation or the discovery of compelling evidence. Instead, she made the bold decision to come forward and confess her crimes. Seeking redemption, she admitted her chilling actions to the staff at a Toronto psychiatric hospital where she had committed herself. The staff wasted no time in alerting the authorities, and the police soon found themselves face to face with a remorseful Wetlaufer. In her detailed confession, she provided insight into her twisted mindset. When referring to one of her victims, Wetlaufer chillingly stated, "And then that night I overdosed her, because like I said, I had that feeling that it was her time to go." This revelation raises unsettling questions about her perception of life and death. It becomes clear that she believed she had the power to decide who should live and who should die. Number 16. Tiger Woods. The scandal that engulfed the personal life of golf legend Tiger Woods in 2009 remains one of the most sensational and scrutinized chapters in sports history. It all began when Woods found himself at the center of an infidelity storm that would forever alter his public image. The controversy became very intense when, in a nonchalant manner, a friend confronted Woods about being married. Woods confirmed his marital status as if it were insignificant, despite the gravity of the situation. Rumors about potential affairs had already been swirling in the media when, in the early hours of November 27 of that same year, Woods was involved in a mysterious car crash outside of his home. Of course, this raised numerous questions and suspicions. Amidst the mounting speculation, Woods issued a cryptic statement on the 2nd of December of that same year, apologizing for unspecified transgressions. However, the days that followed brought forth a parade of women, each claiming to have had a relationship with the golf sensation. When the pressure became too much to bear, Woods finally came clean on December 11, admitting to the adulterous affairs that had shattered the facade of his seemingly idyllic life. The repercussions were profound. The scandal led to the dissolution of Woods's marriage and cast a long shadow over his professional career. His unprecedented fall from grace tarnished not only his personal reputation, but also significantly impacted his performance on the golf course. His once unshakable dominance in the sport suffered a blow, and it took a whole lot of years of arduous efforts to regain his former prowess. Number 15. Dennis Nilsen. The story of Scottish serial killer Dennis Nilsen is a chilling tale of gruesome crimes that unfolded between 1978 and 1983. Over this harrowing span of time, Nilsen took the lives of at least 12 men, but it was his method of disposal that truly shocked investigators and the world at large. He flushed most of his victims' remains down the toilet. One fateful discovery exposed Nilsen's dark secrets. In February 1983, residents in Nilsen's building began experiencing plumbing issues. As the problem escalated, experts were called in to investigate. To their horror, bones and human flesh were found blocking the system, with a particular pipe leading to Nilsen's top-floor flat. The unimaginable truth began to unravel. When the police went into Nilsen's home, they quickly noticed the strong smell of dead bodies lingering in the air. At first, Nilsen tried to act like he didn't do anything wrong, but when a serious police officer talked to him, he couldn't pretend anymore. Finally, he admitted to what he did, asking a scary question. 15 or 16. It showed that Nilsen didn't even remember how many people he hurt, making his crimes even scarier. The revelation that there was a body concealed in a wardrobe left investigators stunned as the full extent of Nilsen's depravity was finally disclosed. The arrest of Dennis Nilsen marked the end of a reign of terror that had gripped the nation. His murders and disturbing method of disposal had shattered the lives of not only his victims, but also their loved ones. Number 14. Naomi Shimer. Famously known as the acclaimed singer-songwriter behind Jerusalem of Gold, Naomi Shimer holds a significant place in Israeli music history. Her song became an unofficial second anthem after Israel won the Six-Day War that year and reunited Jerusalem. However, amidst the celebratory acclaim, the song is entangled in a web of controversy and bittersweet revelation. For years, Shimer faced persistent accusations of plagiarizing the iconic melody, while she steadfastly denied any wrongdoing. It wasn't until the specter of cancer loomed over her that she unburdened herself of a shrouded secret. A few days before her death in 2004, she wrote a letter to fellow musician Gil Aldima, where she highlighted her confessions. She also stated in the letter that she wanted him to be the only person in the world besides her family who should know the truth about Jerusalem of Gold. Unfortunately, the letter was made known to be public by the musician, although he got the consent from her family. In the letter Gil Aldima, Shimer revealed that she had based the melody To Jerusalem of Gold on a Basque lullaby titled Piyut Hashivim Shirim, which she encountered at a concert in 1962. The revelation was a somber admission of unintentional theft, as Shimer fervently claimed that she had subconsciously borrowed the tune due to her profound affection for it. The weight of her actions weighed heavily on her conscience, and she expressed profound regret for the entirety of her life. Number 13. Edmund Ker. By the tender age of 24, Edmund Ker was already responsible for the murders of 10 people, including his own mother and grandparents. It all began with a disturbing fascination that started at a non-human level.
And I sensed everybody in the world just stopping what they were doing, turning around, saw what I did, and are coming to get me.
Objects, possessions, and even other people became the targets of his sinister obsessions. Ker's crimes shook the nation to its core. After brutally murdering his grandparents, he astonishingly turned to his own mother and revealed the horrifying act he had committed. To the shock of many, his mother instructed him to call the police. Ker's confession was eerie as he revealed that he simply wanted to understand the sensation of taking a life. His crimes were very upsetting, and the fact that his mother was involved made the story even more creepy. Despite being imprisoned for his heinous acts, Ker's release on parole marked a terrifying turning point. In a twisted display of his distorted mind, he resumed his murderous spree shortly after regaining his freedom. Consumed by an overwhelming sense of paranoia, Ker believed that the entire world had become aware of his deeds and was closing in on him. This distorted perception fueled his actions, and he continued to claim victims. The spree ultimately came to a halt when Ker, in a moment of dark clarity, called the police to confess. When questioned about his surrender, his response was shockingly nonchalant. Ker coldly declared that killing was nothing more than a pure waste of time. It was a statement that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. Number 12. Richard KLinsky.
Next time you see me, I will kill you.
In the realm of true crime, Richard KLinsky is one of those persons that would make you wonder if they are truly enjoying their evil deeds. He was an American career criminal whose dark deeds have left investigators baffled. With a conflicting web of claims and unverified stories, the true extent of KLinsky's murderous rampage remains a haunting mystery. While it is widely acknowledged that he was involved in at least 5 murders, the actual number could potentially soar to more than 100. KLinsky once claimed that he had worked as a hitman for the mafia, yet investigators have struggled to substantiate this claim. Adding to the intrigue, he boldly proclaimed to have slain up to 200 individuals, but only 5 deaths have been officially linked to him. This perplexing discrepancy between his confessions and verified cases leaves a chilling question hanging in the air. Just how many lives did KLinsky truly eliminate? The wheels of justice caught up with KLinsky in 1988 when he was found guilty of 4 murders and handed a life sentence behind bars. It was during a groundbreaking interview for the HBO documentary The Iceman Confesses in 2001 that KLinsky rocked the world with a shocking revelation. He finally confessed to the 1980 killing of New York Police Department officer Peter Calabro, stunning both the public and prosecutors alike. This unexpected admission led to an additional 30 years being added to KLinsky's already extensive sentence. When asked to define himself, ascribing him the title of assassin, KLinsky dismissed it with a chilling nonchalance. His response, dripping with a cold detachment, suggested that he considered himself nothing more than a common murderer. Number 11. Christian Sperling. In the year 1934, the media was buzzing about the legendary Loch Ness Monster, and the surgeon's photograph, published in the Daily Mail, added fuel to the fire. For years, this picture was believed to be the indisputable evidence of Nessie's existence. But that all changed in 1991 with a stunning revelation by a man named Christian Sperling. So who was Sperling? As it turned out, he was the son-in-law of a man named Marmaduke Wetherell, who was working with his son and an insurance agent named Morris Chambers in the elaborate scheme. To create the monster's head, they used wood putty and a toy submarine and managed to sell the photo to the Daily Mail. With this masterpiece of deception, the world of cryptozoology was forever altered. The hoax was a massive success, with many savoring the thrill of the unknown and the possibility of finally discovering the mystery of Nessie's existence. Some experts even spent years analyzing the photo, trying to prove its legitimacy, but in the end, the truth came to light. The practical joke by Sperling's group went down in history as one of the most elaborate and controversial hoaxes ever perpetrated. However, even after the truth was exposed, the legend of the Loch Ness Monster continued to fascinate and intrigue the public. To this day, people still flock to Loch Ness, eager to catch a glimpse of the mysterious creature lurking in its depths. Number 10. Carl Smith. In the uptown neighborhood of Chicago, Illinois, a tragic incident took place on March 2003. A gunman opened fire, resulting in the death of Antoine Carter and the injury of Ronnie Bolden. Bolden, a witness to the crime, identified the perpetrator as Twin, which was the street name used by both Kevin Duggar and his twin brother, Carl Smith. The Smith brothers were known as drug dealers and members of a gang, often switching places and impersonating each other. In 2005, Kevin Duggar was convicted of the shooting and received a sentence of 54 years in prison for first-degree murder. Despite being found guilty, he maintained his innocence throughout the legal proceedings. A significant twist occurred a decade later in 2013, when Carl Smith, who was incarcerated at the time, decided to address his guilt in a letter to his twin brother. In the heartfelt letter, Carl admitted, "I have to get it off my chest before it kills me, so I'll just come clean and pray you can forgive me. I'm the one who shot and killed those 2 Blackstones on Sheridan that night." Regrettably, Kevin Duggar did not respond to Carl's initial confession letter. Undeterred by that, Carl sent a second letter a few weeks later. This time, Kevin requested Carl to contact his attorney. In 2014, Carl signed a sworn statement confessing to the murder. As time passed, the credibility of Carl Smith's confession came into question. In 2018, a judge deemed his statement unreliable due to his recent denial of an appeal against a 99-year sentence for a violent home invasion, where a 6-year-old child was tragically shot in the head. Prosecutors argued that Carl had nothing to lose by making the confession, and that made the judge deny a new trial for Kevin Duggar. The story took another unexpected turn when the case was appealed once again. A new judge carefully reviewed Carl Smith's confession. This judge concluded that Kevin Duggar should be released, believing in the authenticity of Carl's admission. After nearly 2 decades behind bars, Kevin Duggar emerged from prison on January 26, 2022, finally tasting freedom. He was required to reside in a residential transitional facility for 90 days. On the other hand, Carl Smith was sentenced to 15 years in state prison and 20 years of post-release supervision. Number 9. Ted Bundy. Regarded as one of the world's most evil serial killers, Ted Bundy is a name that sends shivers down the spine. In the mid-1970s, when Bundy was arrested, he displayed an unwavering denial of every count of assault, murder, and kidnapping brought against him. Defiantly speaking to the press, he boldly declared, "Contrary to Section 782.04 of the Florida statute, I will plead not guilty right now." This statement only added to the aura of his cold-bloodedness. As the days ticked by and Bundy's execution date loomed on January 24, 1989, a change was about to occur. Strangely, in the weeks and months leading up to his ultimate demise, Bundy began to feel a strange sense of duty or desire to unburden himself. He realized that the end was near, and in a shocking turn of events, he finally confessed to his horrific crimes. He described the gruesome details of what he had done with his victims' bodies and shockingly admitted to revisiting the locations where he had buried some of his victims' remains. He confessed to additional crimes that the police were not aware of. This sudden and detailed confession added a new layer of horror to Bundy's already terrifying legacy. It revealed the extent of his depravity and the true scope of his crimes, suggesting that his actual death toll could be much higher than previously thought. Number 8. Julian Altman. Some of the most valuable and revered musical instruments in the world are Stradivarius violins, antiques built in Italy hundreds of years ago. One in particular from 1713, currently known as the Gibson X Huberman Stradivarius, was stolen from a virtuoso called Bronislaw Huberman in 1936 by struggling musician Julian Altman. Altman, a violinist who aspired to make a name for himself, orchestrated the theft of the priceless violin, leading to its disappearance for over 5 decades. The missing violin's intriguing tale took an unexpected turn when, on his deathbed, Altman confessed to his wife that he was in possession of the stolen violin, providing her with the crucial information needed to recover it. His spouse acted upon Altman's deathbed confession and successfully located the violin, vindicating Altman's claim. Consequently, she received a substantial finder's fee of $263,000 for her pivotal role in recovering the historic instrument. The Gibson X Huberman Stradivarius ultimately found its way into the hands of the acclaimed violinist Joshua Bell, who acquired it for approximately $4 million. Bell, captivated by the instrument's notoriety, expressed his immediate fascination with the Stradivarius, noting that playing a few notes on it was enough to captivate him. Number 7. Margaret Gibson. In 1922, the unsolved murder of Hollywood director William Desmond Taylor sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. The case remained a mystery until 1964, when retired actress Margaret Gibson made a startling confession after suffering a heart attack. Gibson, on the brink of death, disclosed to a neighbor that she had been the one that killed Taylor decades earlier. This revelation baffled authorities, as they found themselves unable to either confirm or disprove her admission. Adding to the mystery, all police files related to Taylor's murder had inexplicably disappeared by the 1940s. Gibson said something surprising, but there isn't much proof to support it. This makes the mystery of William Desmond Taylor's unsolved murder even more eerie. Even when Gibson saw a TV show about the murder, she seemed upset, showing how complicated and emotional the situation is. Number 6. Dillers Widow. In 1983, a captivating art heist took place at the Los Angeles Mayer Institute for Islamic Art in Jerusalem. This heist, considered one of the most successful in history, left the police with little to no leads on who stole a collection of antique timepieces. Among these precious items was a timepiece once owned by Marie Antoinette, the last Queen of France, valued at a staggering $30 million. Years later, in 2008, a breakthrough occurred when Naomi Shimer, the widow of the notorious Israeli art thief Naaman Diller, was apprehended. The stolen timepieces were discovered in her possession, leading to her arrest. During the investigation, Shamrat shared a shocking revelation with the police. She claimed that Diller had confessed to her on his deathbed 4 years prior, disclosing the whereabouts of the stolen assets. It is astonishing to note that Shamrat's capture was not due to chance, but instead took place when she attempted to sell the stolen pieces. This brazen act led authorities to her doorstep, ultimately leading to the recovery of the stolen artifacts. Subscribers Pick. Now it's time for our subscribers pick on the top 20 most startling confessions in history. We have 2 individuals to discuss here, Bill Clinton and Aileen Wuornos. Bill Clinton's confession pertains to the infamous sex scandal involving Monica Lewinsky, where he initially denied any involvement but later admitted to an inappropriate relationship. This scandal led to Clinton's impeachment trial and had a profound impact on American politics and society. Aileen Wuornos, on the other hand, was a notorious female serial killer who confessed to murdering 7 male clients while working as a worker in Florida. Despite claims of self-defense and sympathy due to her traumatic upbringing, Wuornos openly admitted to being a cold-blooded killer and displayed psychopathic tendencies. So guys, what do you think about these confessions from the 2 individuals? Do share your thoughts in the comments section below as we continue with this video. Number 5. Carolyn Bryant. Emmett Till, a symbol of the Black civil rights movement, tragically lost his life while visiting family in Mississippi. Accused of inappropriate flirting with a white woman named Carolyn Bryant, Till was lynched by her husband, Roy Bryant, and his half-brother J.W. Milam. They then disposed of his body in the Tallahatchie River. Shockingly, an all-white jury acquitted Bryant and Milam of all charges. The story takes an even more haunting turn when it is revealed that both men profited from their actions. They sold their confession to Look magazine for the equivalent of $43,000 in today's currency. This revelation paints a disturbing picture of how racism and prejudice prevailed, allowing these men to escape punishment for their heinous crime. But the truth surrounding this tragedy became even more complicated in 2017 when historian Timothy Tyson uncovered a shocking revelation. Tyson alleged that Carolyn Bryant had admitted to fabricating the accusation against Emmett Till during a previous interview with him. If this claim holds true, it means that the entire chain of events leading to this horrific crime began with a monumental lie. Number 4. Robert Durst. The story of Robert Durst is one of the most shocking true crime tales of recent years. Durst, a millionaire real estate heir, was accused of 3 murders over the course of several decades. The case against Durst gained national attention in 2015, thanks to the HBO documentary series called The Jinx. The documentary brought the case back into the public eye and led to a stunning revelation in the final episode. As Durst was in the bathroom and unaware that his body microphone was still on, he muttered to himself without realizing that his words were being recorded. In what appeared to be a spontaneous admission, Durst uttered the chilling confession, "Killed them all." The recording shocked audiences and seemed to suggest that Durst had finally cracked under the pressure and confessed to his crimes. However, the admissibility of this recording in a court of law sparked much debate. Questions arose about whether Durst's awareness of the microphone and the possible influence of substance use during the recording could impact its credibility. The complexity of these factors added another layer of intrigue to an already sensational case. Number 3. James Brewer. In 2009, a shocking confession emerged when James Brewer, who had suffered a severe stroke, made a call to the police in Tennessee. In this call, he confessed to fatally shooting Jimmy Carroll back in 1977. Brewer revealed that he was under the belief that Carroll was attempting to steal his wife, Dorothy. This confession shed light on a brutal crime that had remained unresolved for decades. Interestingly, it was uncovered that Brewer had been arrested in Tennessee shortly after the murder, but he managed to escape on bail. Fleeing to Oklahoma, he assumed a new identity and began his life under a different name. However, fate caught up with him when he made the startling admission following his stroke. Although it seemed as if he had narrowly escaped justice for years, Brewer's confession led to his arrest and subsequent charge for Carroll's murder. Number 2. Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was once a celebrated athlete and a global icon in the realm of cycling. He had won the prestigious Tour de France an incredible 7 times consecutively. However, as rumors of doping and performance-enhancing drugs began to swirl, Armstrong's legacy came under intense scrutiny. It all came crashing down in a televised interview with Oprah Winfrey, where Armstrong finally confirmed what many had suspected for years. He had, in fact, used banned substances and engaged in blood doping. Armstrong offered no apologies, and in a shocking move, he even attempted to link his doping to his cancer survival. In the interview, he claimed that the experience had pushed him to get carried away and take performance-enhancing drugs. The confession rocked the sporting world and tarnished Armstrong's once illustrious reputation. It also raised questions about the use of performance-enhancing drugs in sports, highlighting the lengths some athletes will go to win, even at the cost of their health and the principles of fair play. Number 1. John Michael Ermer. The case of John Michael Ermer is connected to Susan Marcia Rose, a young woman from Johnston, Pennsylvania, who moved to Boston, Massachusetts, seeking new adventures. Little did she know that her meeting with John Michael Ermer on an ordinary day in October 1979 at a local skating rink would lead to a tragic end. As they left the rink, their paths took a dark turn as they entered an apartment building under renovation. Ermer's violent act unfolded swiftly as he grabbed a hammer and viciously attacked Rose, resulting in her untimely death. The heinous crime didn't stop there. He proceeded to physically assault her before fleeing to New York, leaving a chilling trail of horror behind. In a surprising turn of events, another man was wrongly accused and acquitted of Rose's murder in June 1981, causing the case to linger in the shadows of uncertainty. However, fate had other plans. In August 2023, after 44 long years, Ermer walked into the Federal Bureau of Investigation field office in Portland, Oregon, and made a shocking confession. He unveiled the grim details of Rose's murder and rape, referring to it as a ruthless and cold-blooded act that haunted him for decades. Not only did Ermer confess to this crime, but he also revealed his involvement in another murder in a southern state, shedding light on his sinister past. The breakthrough came when investigators managed to obtain a DNA sample from Ermer, connecting him conclusively to the crime scene evidence that had been preserved for over 4 decades. On September 11, 2023, justice finally caught up with Ermer as he stood in a Boston courtroom facing charges of murder and aggravated. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.